Welcome to Read It and Screech, the podcast where we give the Cliff's Notes and the cringiest quotes and go screeching all the way. I'm Grace, and this is my co-host, Ava. This is the Tidbit Middlesode, where we tell each other some weird shit. Here's the thing. I want to go first because I only have one. I was thinking today about how many times how much mileage I've gotten out of a manual transmission.
I don't care.
No, wait, was him? I have had no less than 4 men teach me how to drive stick. When really mom taught me.
I've had 3 plus mom.
Well, I just thought it was ways to get guys to like me. Then I turned around and I taught 2 different guys to drive stick. I let 4 guys teach me, at least 4, if not like 4 to 6 guys teach me. Then I taught at least 2.
Fashion is cyclical.
If my husband passed away and I grieved the appropriate amount of time, I would probably let a new guy teach me how to drive stick. And I've owned like 2 stick shift cars.
Yeah, but now you put it out there and they're not going to believe you.
You know what?
Look at me like I saw this one time on a true crime documentary. Just kidding. It was on a weird podcast.
What, you had killed my husband with a stick shift car?
Maybe.
I was thinking about that's kind of funny. That first I used it like, oh yeah, teach me how to drive stick. And then I took that knowledge and I taught 2 different guys to drive stick.
The whole like women
coming and going.
Women can't parallel park or whatever. I'm like, you should never like stomp up and like offer to help a woman park.
Oh my god, that happened to me like last year.
The only time you're allowed to do that is if you're at a wedding and they are wearing the wedding dress for that wedding. Otherwise, leave them the fuck alone.
And in that case, if you do park the car, you now won the bride.
For Nocta, she's yours.
Per the law.
Like, that's the only time you need to offer. It's like a wedding, a funeral.
Can you imagine being...
People already having a hard time. Otherwise, leave them alone. That's not your wife. Leave her alone. They don't stick your head. They come up and they wrap them with like...
Wait, can you imagine being so cucked as a man that at your own wedding someone else parallel parks for you?
Wait, I have this whole thing because I'm like, you don't know what that person does for a living. Like, they could probably operate the car fine. I saw this video, and this girl was parking a truck on a farm. They lived on a farm. Do you realize that they have acres? And he's like, my wife can't even park. First off, she could park it in the middle of a field. She's not hitting shit.
Right.
And he was like, women can't even. And I was like, you don't know what women do for a living. Half the time when you fly, the people pushing that plane are a woman. You don't know. The pilot could be a woman.
Not half the time. Sometimes.
You don't know.
I do know, because you did it, and you were literally the only women. I literally do know. I'm not saying...
Some of the times.
I'm not saying that it should be 50%. Yes.
Some of the times, it's a woman.
From your
So some of the times, you pass a semi-truck on the highway, it's a woman. So assuming that none of the women can drive, we did a little job one time, and this man came up, we were about to back down, and he goes, can I back out for you? And I was so angry. I was like, tell him no. And Grace was like, I think we're good. I was like, I would rather back this car all the way home for like, was it 11 miles on the highway than ever get help from you.
She were going to say, I would rather back it off a cliff.
I would rather back it off a cliff. And it's like,
I'd rather drive into the ocean.
He's offering to be nice. No, he's insinuating that you're too stupid to do it. That you got a driver's license and they didn't make you parallel park like they made him.
I took the ladies test.
Right.
Similar to the WNBA. There is the women's driver's test. It has fewer sponsorships, and it is on ESPN2. Is the women's driver's test.
So unfair.
Okay, whatever, go ahead.
So I had a funny one, and then this one. So recently, I heard it all at a next store, and this one...
Eva, we have 3 listeners, so they know.
Right.
So you don't have to introduce it every time.
I don't want to tell you where our next door is.
Oh, too fucking late. You're like, I was driving on Mills Gap.
I can tell you the name of the town, but they recently had 3 large things happen, and they posted them on next door. And they, you know, when they like post, they're like, we did a big drug bust, and they'll lay everything out on the table.
Like 15-year-olds when they get their first paycheck,
it'll
and
be
they
like
lay it out.
$20 bills. So usually it's pretty small, but this time they got like pounds of fentanyl. It was like a lot. It was like a $2 million. Like it was pounds and pounds of fentanyl, pounds and pounds of opiate. Like, it was a pretty bad one. And so everyone was like commenting, "Oh, good job, police department, good job." Da, 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 da. They had
they had $320
no, they
and
had
a pound of fentanyl.
No, usually it's like a very small amount of money. Now this time it was quite a spread of money, but like pounds and pounds of drugs. So they hadn't sold the drugs yet because they had been compiling it. The 3 or 4 people they arrested, they've been following them for a little while, and then they got them when it was 1 person from Georgia and 2 people from here. And then they waited till they came up here with the last carload, I guess, and it was like pounds and pounds that they were about to sell. So they didn't have as much money, but they had a bunch of guns. It was a bunch of guns, and I'm going to read you the comments.
How many guns?
Like 6.
A bunch.
Okay, so the first one is, all caps, "Great job of our law enforcement." Okay. "Thank you, blah, 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 police department and all agencies involved." This one was a kicker. I like this one.
I'm ready.
This feels like the little diaper girl. This first one.
There's nothing as a little diaper girl.
It is. Are you ready? You're going to laugh really hard.
I don't think I am.
You are. "Try that in a small town."
It's not that funny.
It's that song.
I know. I got it.
I laughed really hard when it happened.
I think it's funny because
that girl stomping.
Because it was unironic.
No, they were serious.
Yeah.
They were 100%.
"Try that in a small town."
But all I can think was that girl stomping in that one video, and I was like, oh my god. No one liked that comment, by the way. And it says top fan of the police department page was that person. And now he's
got to come with stronger stuff.
Here's where we're getting in the deep. "How much for the weapons, especially the fully auto Glock? Asking for a friend." Then we got a lot of comments. "When are the weapons going to auction? When are these for sale?"
I think the person who wrote "Try that in a small town," he logged out. He logged into his second account and he posted.
This is a woman. This is a young dude.
Whatever. They are the same person. This person logged out of one account, logged into the other, and said,
"When are you selling these? I want to buy them." They were
Do
AKs.
they do that? Do they sell them?
Yeah, they sell them on auction. And these people were immediately like, "Fuck the drug dealers, but also sell me their guns. I want them."
I'm going to get on there and I'm
please.
going to be the worst person ever. And I'm going to be like, "Is this money going to the
Then
healthcare
somebody
system?"
said winky face to that, and someone said, I don't have any weapons personally. I lost all mine in a boating accident while offshore during my rotation. Unfortunate events. But my buddy has some and doesn't have a Facebook. Wink, eyeballs. He's interested if they'll sell them. They're literally like pawning these people's shit. They're like, you sell drugs, I don't want you to have that, but give me guns. Give me boom boom. Like, this is a wild thing to be doing on the sheriff's department's Facebook page.
They're like first on the gun.
And if I was the sheriff's department, I would be like, "Yes, type more, please." This is a watch
Again. This is the same person, I think, that's posting all these comments.
Welcome to hell. Anyway.
That was those?
That was that one. That was the first one.
Okay, I thought I didn't have any.
There was and then, like, if you click on the pictures of the guns, there's people going, "When are these going to auction? I want," like, they're trying to call dibs. And I'm like, first off, no one's sitting in there writing down that you wrote dibs on that photo first. Nobody gives a rat's ass. And also, chances are you don't have the money. Like, you're not getting that. So, random person who works at Hardee's.
This is so weird. When they say that, like, people will argue or comment about anything on social media, I don't love all ASMR, but for some reason, I really like those videos that are like my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5 or whatever. You just like watch someone's evening routine. Ew. I don't know. I like to watch that. Not like I don't search for it, but if it pops up, I'm like, "Oh, what kind of yoga mat do you use?" I don't know. And so this one popped up. This girl, she had 2 dogs. She got home, finished with work, and she's doing her little routine and she's filming herself. Someone says in the comments, which I accidentally got to the comments because I actually hit the button. What is there to comment? She fed her dogs. She made a weird casserole. She went to bed. They said, "I'm concerned about the obesity of her cat." I had to rewatch the video, and she did have a fat cat, but it's gone far. We're body shaming a cat.
They say that overfeeding your animals is actually worse than underfeeding them, like animal abuse wise.
She was actually like exercising with the cat. Like she was like throwing something for it. They're concerned.
What?
Okay, what's your next one?
Okay.
Carry this episode on your shoulders.
This next one is a photo.
On your drooping, mushy shoulders.
Carry shit.
Your shoulders that are made of a kid's slime toy.
Okay, so no, don't look at that. Just look at the things first, and then I'm going to read it to you.
Are they like trailer hitches?
Okay, so it says, "These are exactly what you think they are, but if anyone asks you, they're wine corks."
Are they butt plugs?
Yep. They're taxidermied head. One of them is an opossum. It's huge. It says that they're exactly what you think they are, unless anyone asks you, and then they're wearing forks. And they are. Like, if you look, the end is definitely a butt plug on the top one.
It's a possum head with a butt plug on the bottom.
A snake, a beaver, another snake. And they're $50 a piece.
This is not why Jesus came.
Someone says, do you want to see more or less posts like this in your More, please.
It's not for whom Jesus died.
It's on the Bad Taxidermy page on Facebook. It says, I would like to recommend these plugs for the ones who are not satisfied with the ducks. I missed the ducks, but I'm satisfied. I think it's great. I loved it.
I think whoever buys those feels satisfied.
Can you
as well.
imagine the possum? The head is so large. I don't know what.
Can you imagine living your life and in your death you become a butt plug
for someone else? No,
well, there's a lesson here.
There isn't.
In reincarnation.
Not one that we need to
because here's what I think we can surmise. You know how in reincarnation,
I hope my ex-boyfriend becomes a possum butt plug.
You go up or down. So that not only was whoever it was became a possum was so bad in the previous to that, or as a possum was so bad but
you had to be found on the side of the road by someone who is ambitious enough to make.
I wonder the person who made that, who are they coming back as? What's the punishment for making a possum?
We live in Appalachia, so probably someone who's just like making glass artwork. This next one is next door. So I'm completely convinced that like the older generation of people like who didn't grow up on social media, and then like our generation had to learn social media, and then the next generation always had social media. Mm-hmm. So you have the three demographics of people. The older generation of people
all have unfettered access.
Right. But they were damaged by the Facebook thing saying what's on your mind. Because they were like, oh, people want to know.
I was damaged by that.
They were like, ooh, someone's asking you. Bitch, no one's asking you. That was an invitation you didn't need to say yes to.
Every single day of my life, Facebook Memories shows me that
you did.
I also
fell
victim to the what's on your mind. Mine is always
just like weird shit. Mine is just like, guess what I did? I fell in front of a golf cart I was driving.
I'm grateful for it because I can press delete and take it out of the permanent record.
Well, there you go. So this woman is using Nextdoor as that, which is insane. Oh, well, no, it does say that. It says, what's on your mind, neighbor? So similarly, she was like, well, let me tell you. You asked. You want to know. And 60 people commented almost the identical answer to this after she said this, which was, you didn't need to tell us this.
It's cheaper than therapy.
There sure are a lot of argumentative, rude people on here. I just thought that this was a community page, but it is obviously just another page for those who want to gripe about something they don't like as opposed to the good things about our town. Ma'am, is that not what you're doing?
Have you ever been on Nextdoor?
Every single
person. I don't know much about it, but I do know that it's for bitching.
She got 37 reacts and 60 comments, and every single comment was, you didn't need to post this. You could just leave. You could, like, no, you didn't have to announce your departure. Why do people like that? I'm late!
I wish you would.
And you know she didn't actually leave. I think she got like 2 comments that were like, I wish you would stay and see all the wonderful things people say good stuff and post pictures of their hummingbird feeders.
I will take this as a written contract.
Right? You better leave, bitch. If I see you comment another thing.
You must leave.
It's a threat. So that was wild.
I literally hate that when, like, especially, I think, here's the thing about it. I feel like for the most part, maybe it's just women I know, most women I know kind of have grown out of the, I'm just going to like my Facebook, whatever. Men in true form are behind. And I see certain men all the time saying, I think I'm just going to delete my Facebook for all. Go! Leave! Please!
You could delete it and not tell us.
Is this your 2 weeks?
It wasn't a part of it. Facebook doesn't require you to give a 2 weeks.
Is this your 2 weeks notice?
By the way, I'll be gone soon.
Goodbye.
So my last one, this is funny, but now I don't remember what the pre-thing to this was. Shit, what was it? It was like, what book do you want to read today? Or like a book of poetry or whatever, because you know how people always do those. And then it was,
where's my dad? Where's my dad?
Or, when they do that. So,
there was this one on Instagram.
Let me read to you about love or something. When they do those. Mm-hmm. And then it flips to that.
Let me see if I can find this, the one I saw on Instagram. There was this girl on Instagram. She made a tattoo. She got a tattoo on her forearm. It took up her whole forearm.
You sent me that. It was gross.
Did you see my comment?
No.
So for the listener, it was a tattoo that took up her entire forearm. Gross. And it said, It was like a text bubble as if she had tried to send a message and it said, I miss you, Dad. But then it said undelivered. And then over the top, it said like the day, her dad's date of birth and then date of death. And it was supposed to be like, oh, sad. Like she misses him, but she can't tell him. And I said, I thought that meant her dad blocked her. And so she got a tattoo of it. I was like, we could do that. So we could do that.
First off, you would not catch me trying to text that hoe.
Before I saw the
that's the thing.
The dates of birth and death, I thought he had blocked her.
She was talking about trying to text her dad or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you would not catch me trying to text that hoe. I don't give a fuck. And there was another girl. And this one was really interesting, actually, because there are some people who are doing these like huge, like, and this is, I hate this. You want to know my top 3 most grotesque words?
You're going to tell me anyway.
Yes. When people say open up about. So-and-so opens up about their, bitch, did you cut it open? What is that? Their journey. I hate that.
Yeah.
And then their battle with. Are you fighting Sauron in the basement? So my least favorite sentence would be so-and-so opens up about their journey and their battle with. And they say it so often, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm like, oh, you want to tell me about a fake bitch? Put those sentences together. So people often on the interweb will be like, so-and-so's journey with, this is my grief journey. And they'll be like, because their sibling or a family member or their parent died. So this girl is doing this big thing because her dad died. And she has all these videos of herself crying, which for me is like, why do you set your camera up to cry?
I don't have it. Maybe I cry so viscerally.
No, this
I don't
girl,
have it in me to...
No, she literally put the thing up and then she just sat there and like bawled like loud. And I was like, that... To me, if you had the presence of mind to set that up first, you wouldn't have started crying. It was wild. But I did have the thought at one point, and they never answer this. And I just think it would be really interesting for one of the grief people to address this, because it would be interesting, because they love to address everything else. And then they ignore me when I say something. Love that.
Who ignores you?
Like, I'll comment something and they'll just be like...
Oh, just strangers on the internet? It's better that way.
No, because like...
Otherwise, they just talk about your teeth.
Interesting.
It's for the best.
No, so like, we don't have a dad, if you're there.
Isn't it obvious?
So, no, but so like, when they're like sobbing over their dad being dead, and they'll be like, oh, I miss them so much, blah, 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 every single day, blah, 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 blah. And it's so fascinating to me, because it feels to me almost like watching, and I don't mean this like, oh, you're a zoo animal. I don't mean it like you're a zoo animal. It feels like watching something happening. Like, you remember when they talk about like going and seeing the windows when they used to decorate the windows like in New York City?
Yeah, it's
like picture window or a TV screen or something like that.
It's detached because you can't relate to it.
And you will, but it's not something you could ever obtain. You will literally never obtain it. It's not like something you could get. Cause
we can't go back in time and have a dad.
Back in time, because like when you move on, people say, oh, you move on, you get things like you can still have a family, you get married, you have your own kids or whatever, you get a family, but you can never get a new parent. Even if you get a step parent, you don't get a parent. So that's something you will never obtain. You can never fix that. You can never reobtain that. So interesting to me to watch you grieve a person so hard who clearly loved you. I'm not criticizing her relationship. I believe that your dad loved you. When people have dads, I believe that their dads love them. I'm not saying that they didn't.
When people just grieve their dads for a long time, I'm like,
I believe your dad loved you. My dad didn't love me. That's fine.
I just don't understand it. I don't understand it.
To see that, and I'm like, wow, how must that be? Wow, I would learn that we would never know.
You literally did not have to say any of that. Like, that is a given.
No, but so I said that one time. One of them was like sobbing, like choking in this video, and I was like, this is so interesting to see, because that is something I would never experience. Like what I'm watching you do. Mm-hmm. And that is fascinating to me. Mm-hmm. And they like acknowledged everyone else's comments except mine.
Yeah, that's for the best. You should like, never, not you as in the general public, you personally should never comment on a grieving person's photo or video.
You know when they say you're responsible for your algorithm? You did something. I'm so sorry.
What is concerning? Speaking of algorithm, I really need to say this. I need this to be said, because talking about algorithms, you talk a lot. You mention a lot of videos about grieving individuals.
I don't know where they come from.
I never come upon videos of grieving individuals. And this means that you have interacted with so many grieving people that you are in the algorithm of grief. You owe an apology to all of these grieving people who you have inserted yourself and said the most tone-deaf comments. I hear you're sad. I'm gonna make you uncomfortable. You know what goes really good with sadness? Visceral uncomfortability. If you thought you were gonna forget this day. You're not.
First off, they posted about it on the internet.
That
feels like an invitation.
I never see grief or like sad things on my algorithm because I don't interact with it. But apparently you're up into these people's comments. I see you lost a loved one. Did you know I have autism?
You're gonna know by the end of the conversation.
They're just like, get the fuck out of here. Weirdo. My dad didn't die of autism. Go away.
You may have. You don't know.
They're like, I see why your dad left you.
That is entirely true. Probably.
How fucking awful.
First off, you get that from your dad, so.
It's called a pump and dump. So I thought of something. I remembered something.
No, thank you.
I was thinking about how it would be nice, like when we have our full podcast studio set up, to have like the chairs and stuff. And I think it's kind of like a throwback to how Mom had our room set up when we were kids. We had the two like saucer chairs. We had a little bookshelf in the middle. Well, I'm wondering, should we also add the slice of summer sausage that you put there and left for 4 years?
What's that there for?
4 years at least.
I didn't leave it there. Like, oh, I want this later. I forgot.
Well, and also, because we had food insecurity, I also used to hide chips in my jewelry box.
I still keep food under my bed.
Thank you for listening to Read It and Screech, the Tidbit Middlesode. If you'd like to support, you can always rate, review, and subscribe. Or find us on TikTok and Instagram at ScreecherPod. As always, don't listen with your mom in the car. Or my mom. Don't listen with my mom in the car. Your mom.